You know, for the longest time, we've had this one core belief in medicine, that empathy is just uniquely human. It's the handshake, right? The knowing glance, that comforting voice. We always just assumed it was the one thing a machine could never, ever replicate. The last stand for the human doctor.
But what if we got that wrong? What if the one quality we believed made us absolutely essential in healing is now being challenged and from a source we never saw coming? This isn't a theoretical question anymore. We're getting answers from actual data.
Okay, this is where things get really wild. A recent study in Nature Digital Medicine had cancer patients rate responses from their doctors and from an AI chatbot. And the results? Honestly, they're staggering. On a 5-point empathy scale, the AI scored a 4.1. The human doctors, a 2.2. Let that sink in. Patients found the chatbot to be almost twice as empathetic.
The researchers who analyzed this data put it perfectly. That's not a rounding error. That's a gut check. This isn't some small statistical difference we can just brush aside. No, this is a massive challenge to how we think about patient care.
A number like that just demands an explanation, right? I mean, how is it even possible that a machine, an algorithm that literally has zero feelings, can come across as more empathetic than a trained, caring human doctor? Well, the answer seems to be in what you might call the AI's perfect bedside manner. It has this unique combination of traits that, when you look at it from a patient's point of view, is almost impossible for any human to pull off consistently. Just think about it for a second. An AI is never tired, it's never stressed out or running late from another appointment. It's there for you instantly, 24/7. It remembers every single detail of your medical history perfectly, and it can adjust its tone and language just for you, whether it's 10 in the morning or 2 in the morning. It just offers a level of pure focus and availability that a person, being human, can't possibly match.
And I want to be super clear here. This isn't some future science fiction thing. These tools are being used right now, especially in really emotionally intense fields like oncology, where that kind of compassionate communication is just everything.
For instance, you've got Avatar Medical, which takes complex scans and turns them into 3D models a patient can actually see and understand. There's Sophie, an AI that helps train oncologists on the tough job of delivering bad news. And then systems like Oncology Guide use avatars to give patients education and support around the clock. They're filling a huge gap, really, offering help right when a human doctor just can't be there. All of this brings us to this huge, almost philosophical question that's right at the center of this whole shift. If the result is a patient who feels understood, who feels supported, who feels less alone, does the source of that comfort really matter? Is the human touch the essential part, or is it just the feeling of being cared for that counts?
Well, the answer that's starting to take shape in the medical world is nuanced, but it's clear. Yes, the human part absolutely matters. The trick isn't to push AI away, but to get really smart about where that human touch is completely non-negotiable.
So, you see, this isn't really about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together. The real work now is to draw a bright, clear line in the sand that defines the roles that only a human doctor can and absolutely should fill.
And this breakdown just illustrates that new division of labor perfectly. Let AI handle what it's amazing at: summarizing complex information, providing 24/7 education, answering all the routine questions. But for the moments that carry real weight, delivering a life-changing diagnosis, getting consent for a risky surgery, having those high-stakes, deeply personal conversations, those have to stay human, period.
And this right here, this is the whole point. The thing that really sets humans apart isn't empathy anymore, it's responsibility. See, an AI can mimic empathy, but it can't take responsibility. It can't be held accountable for a decision that changes a person's life. That needs a human, a professional who has clinical authority and is ethically on the hook for the consequences.
Okay, so if that's the case, how do we actually protect this essential human role? Because just kind of hoping that patients will always choose a person, that's not really a long-term strategy.
This line says it all, doesn't it? If we don't officially write it down and require human involvement in these critical moments, then healthcare systems, which are always looking for ways to be more efficient and cut costs, might eventually decide it's optional. A preference is not a protection.
So this is a real call to action. Medical organizations need to get together and formally define where a human doctor is non-negotiable. And then everything else has to change to reflect that. Training, licensing, even how we bill for services. The idea is for the medical community to lead this conversation, not have new rules forced on them from the outside.
And that really is the bottom line, isn't it? We can't just sit back and assume everything will be fine. Believing that patients will always prefer a human feels good, but it's passive, it's a hope. And as the source material says so powerfully, hope isn't a plan. A plan needs action.
So as we step into this new future of medicine, maybe the defining human quality isn't about our ability to feel for our patients. Maybe it's about our willingness to be responsible for them. And that, right there, is something a machine can never replace.